will be based on this social criticism. Huh. Currently, the core belief of social criticism is that literature is a reflection of its society. It maintains that the literary work can't be separated from social context. It was created, the first performance of the play Final Solutions took place at Guru Nanak Bhavan, Bangalore on 10th July 1993. Then after it was staged at Tara Theatre, Mumbai on 11th December 1993. Alec Padmasi directed this performance. Sahitya Academy honored him with Sahitya Academy Award for Final Solutions and other plays in 1998. Sahitya Kala Parishad, the wing of the government of the National Capital Territory of Delhi Musical Dance and Drama and Fine Arts, selected this social criticism. Why? Because it is a very important from the point of view of discussion of what we are discussing. Final Solutions Tara on 30 days in September 2007 as Best Productions of the Year directed by Arvind Gaur. The issue of the play is so sensational and simmering with the undercurrents generated by recent events that its transition has had a profound impact on the Indian audience and has brought him a greater recognition. So it underlies the identity crisis in religious minorities. The tremendous response of the play lies beneath its theme, which is a powerful indictment of the communal passions that threatens to split our country. Dattani, who dwells upon contemporary issues, shows utter interest in search of identity and their harmony. He is always aware that personal identity and national identity are intimately linked in India. When there is a conflict between social identity and religious identity, it leads to identity crisis. Even today, we see that is what is in India. Identity crisis. In India, where there are various religions, there is always a chance of conflict between two different religions. This is the stark reality of Indian society which can't be ignored. So in Final Solution, Dattani deals with such kind of identity crisis. Such crisis there because of the existence of majority and minority classes in the society. In India, the Hindus are treated as the majority class and the Muslims considered the minority or the other reason. We also treat them as other because of political prostitution. Commenting on identity, Erickson says, identity is a relationship of the self of a man with others. It is the persistent sameness within oneself, self-sameness we see, and the persistent sharing of some kind of essential characters with others. When we say others, we mean to say the other type of class of people. Our society is very narrow-minded. It works on the principle of uniting with the individual who has the same ideology in various ways. Unfortunately, it hates the individual who may vary on the ground of religion, culture, gender, nation, or race. Thus, the members of the society who do not meet this criteria are secluded and segregated from the stream of the society. They are blamed and made the scapegoat. Thus, in India, the Muslims are considered the minority class. So they are the others, they are the victims of double standards and mentality of our society. They are left isolated. In some cases, they are bereft of equal rights in the society. They are in an important part of society, but unfortunately, because of personal, social, religious prostitution, they face the wrath of one particular community. In such a society, they became a victim of identity crisis. Sometimes such identity crisis takes the form of violence. Each community sees others with prejudice, hatred, and suspicion. So, what Dattani focuses on display is psychology of this other and the circumstances that make him so. In an interview to Anjali Multani, Mahesh Dattani says, it is one thing focusing on these areas in the human conditions that leave the individual with a sense of displacement or being the other. But it's what the character does under. So, what does he mean by that? Character does under. That makes him or her interesting. Ultimately, all good writings is about character revelation and journey. The provocation that are connected with a person's marginalized identity. This marginalized identity we do it by others, or what spurred the character into action. At the same time, Dattani is preoccupied with socio-political realities in India today. His thirst for such issues lead him to trigger one of the recurring themes of modern writing in Indian English literature, the theme of communal conflict in final solution. No doubt he has raised the social issues on a wider canvas in this play. It is the extension of his early concern. So, to quote Asha Kuthari Chaudhary, he turned here from the intensely personal focus that marked the earlier works and looked at history and its ramifications within the localized context with simple and powerful visual texture that made it one of his most important perform plays. Final solutions elucidates various sorts of communist attitude prevalent in Indian society. It is a play where Dattani attempts to approaching communal conflicts in India. It was such a tremendous success that it was translated and performed in Hindi at various venues scattered across India. It proved to be a turning point in the dramatic career of Dattani. The theme of Hindu-Muslim hostility is introduced as the background of the play through the device of chorus mob. The chorus mob, comprising 5 men and 10 masks on sticks, is the omnipresent factor throughout the play, crouching on the horseshoe shaped ramp that dominates the space of the stage. The masks lie significantly strewn all over the ramp to be worn when required. The men in the chorus mob put on Hindu masks and the Muslim masks alternatively, revealing thereby the set views of the Hindus and the Muslims towards one another. The stage setting is very important here. The lack of understanding and unacceptability between the two communities. It is always there, even today, gives rise to acrimony, hatredness, resulting in communal conflict and tension. The tension in the play develops in Ramnik's Kanti's house when two Muslim young men, Babban and Javed, seek shelter during a riot. The liberal humanist Ramnik cannot but think of giving shelter to the Muslim boys. However, his wife, the religious conservative Aruna, and his mother Hardika, whom the past incidents have made an anti-Muslim, cannot accept the situation. The past reveals itself, and it is learnt that Ramnik's father had actually made use of riots to claim the shop that belonged to Hardika's friends. So, and Hardika had been wrongly served or sowed, S-O-U-R-E-D, soured, against the Muslims. Ramnik transfers his resentment at his own father's black deed to his mother. His daughter Smita, who is secretly in love with the Muslim boy, Baban hits out at her mother, Aruna. Now, Therefore, what do we find is that there's hatred everywhere, lurking. Padmashi is highly critical of the communal disharmony in the society. He questions in a note on the plate to final solutions. Is life a forward journey or do we travel around in a circle? Returning to our starting point, can we shake off our prejudices or are there in our psyche like a genus? Will we ever be free or ever locked in combat? Arabs against Jews, whites and blacks, Hindus against Muslims. Are there any final solutions? Dattani asks. The play opens with Daksha, a young bride attempting to pour out of her feeling in a diary written 40 years before, thinking back on the riot that exploded in 1947. The mob whispers, "Freedom! At last, freedom!" Her childhood memories of foul with communal riots, which associated with her father's death. Daksha recollects the incident because things have not changed much. She is bewildered to think that a period of 40 years is a long period for a nation. However, there is no change even after so much education and development. But unfortunately, people have not forgot their prejudices. And of course, forgetting the prejudices and hatred against the other community. A riot has again broken out, but this time at Amargaon. Daksha has a deep sense of hatred for the Muslim communities. So the seed of this hatred and anger is sown at the time of India-Pakistan partition. She was with her husband Hari, suffers in a married life as her movement is highly restricted because of the imposition of family and society's strict attitude for female dignity. So this gives her a way to befriend Zarina. When Daksha learns that Zarina's family is in financial trouble as their cloth mill is burned, she requests her husband to help him. But the offer is manipulated and her in-laws put her in dark about it. They say that the aid offered by Hari, is rejected by Zarina's father, and this enrages Daksha. Daksha grows old to be called Hardika and encounters a strange situation when her son Ramnik Gandhi decides to give shelter to two Muslim boys, Javed and Bobby, during communal clashes in contemporary India. They are being chased by the mob in spite of powerful protests by Arun and Hardika. Ramnik insists in rescuing those boys. So it is here that the tussle begins and reveals the making of jihadis and a clash between liberalism and radicalism. The jihadis that we call today. Thus, a complex situation is created as men and women of different faiths and attitudes are thrown together to interact, and the characters exhibit changing patterns of thought process. To tackle such a sensational issue, Dattani has used chorus mob in the play as a dynamic technique. He has presented a socio-psychological interpretation through the use of chorus. The chorus has been used as a magnification technique, are uniquely blended with sound and dialogues. The chorus is very important in a play. Here as it is, chorus mob represents the inner voice of both the communities. Illustrating the role of chorus, Padamsi says the mob in the play is symbolic of our own hatred and paranoia. We are all paranoid. Each member of the mob is an individual, yet they meld into one seething whole as soon the politicians play on their fears and anxieties. Politicians take a very bad role in instigating problems. So the two Muslim boys, Bobby and Javed, are trapped in the curfew. They come in the grip of Hindu chorus. Two members of the chorus assault them and snatch their watch. Ramnik Gandhi, a Hindu, opens the gate and gives them shelter. So when Ramnik comes to know about the real identity of Javed, that he's a riot rouser and is hired by some suspected people of society for their political purpose, Ramnik's liberalism comes to speak. Nobody can be liberal after hearing such tale. Ramnik, who earlier offers him job, now doubts his intention. Both start a reasoned argument on communalism. Dattani, through the cross-examination of Javed and Ramnik, tries to reflect on the roots and motive behind the passion for communal violence. It is always there, it was always there, it is even today. It is not a natural calamity but man made chaos that primarily springs out of the loss of human values. Actually, religious fanaticism or religious prejudice is the sole reason for communal disarmament. Apart from this, personal prejudices are also the central potent motive behind the communal harmony. Disharmony, sorry, communal disharmony. People in today's world are self-centered. They don't care for the sentiment of others. They are not concerned about the sentiment of others. To suit their selfish purpose, they make discrimination on the basis of creed, class, caste, color, and sex. So when it is a case of marginalized group like minority and refugee, the discrimination is very extensive and painful. So the Indian political system is no less responsible for the communal riot. Politicians exploit every sensitive issue by hiring youths like Javed for their political gains. They heighten the religious faith. Through the mouth of chorus, Dattani has aptly presented the leader's intention. Chorus 1, we don't doubt the leader's intention. It is his placed over here. Doubt the leader's intention. Pick up his Hindu mask. They want our blood to boil. They have succeeded. Where's his mask? It is in the book itself. The study of this play under the canon of social criticism. We say social criticism gives insightful ideas about creating a peaceful and progressive society. So Mahesh Dattani has tried to convey the message that the solution of such communal attitude is forgiveness, generosity, and realization. The generosity of Smith and the realization of Bobby are the only possible final solutions, and nothing else. To save the nation from the cloud of disharmony and violence. It is the false assumption presented by the communal elements of the religion that create bias and hatred for other community. Life is to be meant for peace and brotherhood. The final solution lies in tolerance and respect for other human beings. The Tane, without being didactic, gives the above message magnificently well. That is to be understood from the point of discussion of the topic, what he wants to do. So, taking all these under consideration, it has to be